Welcome to the Andy Ruther Show. Here is your host, Andy Ruther.
Welcome back to the Andy Ruther Show. That is me, Andy Ruther. What's it been, a month? I mean, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? We're doing this like once a month thing. I keep saying it. I know. But you know what? I was pushed. I appreciate the pushing. I was pushed a little. I saw a comment on the Dirty Sports comment section on our Monday episode of that podcast. Like, when are we gonna hear Ruther family update? My aunt, shout out to my aunt Marilyn. She texted me. She's like, "What's going on? Haven't seen you put any of these shows on YouTube. What's going on?" So a couple people have reached out and they're like, "Dude, just do it." So again, I say this all the time. I say this every episode because I'm doing it like once a month, once every 3 weeks. Anyway, I'm glad. I need that. Sometimes I need that. Sometimes I just need a vacuum to just yell in. That's what I told Brittany. I said, I'm just going to go talk to myself for the next 45 minutes in my little office/podcast studio in the basement. I'm just going to talk to myself because that's what I do here. I feel like a lot has happened since the last episode. The last episode, we had reached our end, or I had reached my end with Molly's sleep issues the first 2 hours of every night that I'd scheduled a visit with Children's Hospital, which wasn't going to be until November because God bless our lovely healthcare and medical care system here in the good old United States. Here's what's crazy. We had reached that point. I had reached that point. I couldn't do it any longer. Every night was just a grind for 2 hours when you put her down. She's been great since. Knock on wood. I'm sure she'll regress. She's had the best 30 days ever of sleeping. The best 30 days ever since then. I've literally been keeping track every single night. I put it into ChatGPT. We analyze it because she gets a sleep score for the app she is on as far as the camera that we have. So, yeah. Good stuff. 30 straight days. We just changed up the routine a little. We pushed her bedtime back a little. Just pushed it back a bit. Before, the routine was bath, bottle, which now she's old enough, bottle, which turned into milk. So bath, glass of milk, rocking bed. Now it's bath, glass of milk, run around with Isla for like 20 to 30 minutes in the hallway, maybe read some books, let that milk digest, let it settle, rock, and then bed. And she's been going to bed a little later, about 30 minutes later. Before, she was probably going to bed around 7:15, 7:30. Now it's about 8 o'clock, and that has changed everything. Rock her until she sleeps. Normally she's just out within 10 minutes. And it's been a game changer. It's been an absolute game changer. So now we finally got Molly on a good sleep schedule. It took 18 months, 18 grueling months, but we finally got on our sleep schedule. We were talking the other night, Brittany and I going, okay, we finally got her on a sleep schedule. Isla is on a mostly pretty good sleep schedule, right? She's 3.5. We finally have room to breathe. We finally have a minute to come up for air. And now we're like, let's have a child in 2 weeks. We finally feel some sort of like that moment of, oh my God, I got back a little time in my night. I got back about an hour and a half, 2 hours in my night. And now we're like, let's just throw a screaming, crying baby in the middle of this. Let's just add a third. Let's just do it. Let's just take this 18 months of grinding, of rolling that giant ball, that rock, whatever it is, up that hill. We've spent 18 months just fighting, cleaning up vomit, dealing with a screaming, crying kid who can't relax, very attached to me. The separation anxiety is next level. Let's just take that, and we've culminated finally to a point, and then we're just going to push the ball, push the rock right back down the hill and have to do it again. Yay. I'm actually excited, truthfully. Again, this is the last hurrah. So there's something to that. There's something to a finality that this is going to be the last go round. So let's just go all in. Let's do it. It's going to be hell. Maybe this baby isn't as bad as Molly. Let's hope not. You never know. But that's where we're at, right? That's where we're at. There's no getting out now. There's no getting out. I'm actually more relaxed. I've talked about this. I'm more nonchalant heading into baby number 3 because it's of all those things. It's the last. What are you going to do? This time it's Brittany worrying about the money. This time it's Brittany worrying about the daycare cost. Not me. This is where we are. And truthfully, God willing that we have a healthy child, I think this is what I want, a third kid. It's not think. I know this is what I want. I shouldn't say think. This is good. 2 was nice. 2 made me happy. 2 made Brittany happy. I just think we need a third. I just really think a third girl, in all honesty, will be great. Talk to me in 2 months. Might feel differently. Talk to me on a night where I'm losing my mind because the baby won't shut up. The baby won't stop screaming. The baby won't stop crying. Talk to me in 2 months. Might have a different answer. Talk to me in 2 months when my bank account says -$6. Talk to me then. Might have a different answer. But right now, it feels right. It feels like the thing. And I'll tell you what, I say it time and time again. These girls just, as much as they cause the gray hairs and the gray beard and the wrinkles on my face and all those things, they give me so much joy. They truly do. Isla and Molly at this point play all the time together. They fight because they're siblings, and that's what siblings do, and they're close in age. But they give me so much joy. They're adorable. They play well together. For the most part, they're now in daycare together as of 3 weeks ago. I think that's actually helping the sleep, to be honest. Very nice. They go to daycare together. It's always adorable. Isla loves to give Molly hugs when she sees her in the hallway or if they're passing in their gym, whatever. It's adorable. I love that I just throw them in the minivan. We drop them off at the same daycare now. It's nice. It's nice. The girls are adorable. They're the best. Isla was wearing a shirt today. Brittany bought her a Santa Monica, California shirt that she saw in Target or something. And she explained to her, this is where Daddy used to live. Daddy used to live down the street from Santa Monica. And I guess Isla picked it out today. She hadn't worn it before, but Isla picked it out today to wear. And Brittany said, what does that shirt say? And Isla was so cute. She says, I love my daddy. I'm like, actually, it's a Santa Monica, California, but that's much better. And she kept telling me, oh, it says I love my daddy. So look, it's a lot, but it's also these great things. And these, people think we're crazy. I'm not going to lie. People do. People think we're nuts. It's just not common now. People think we're crazy to have 3 kids in 3.5 years at this stage of our lives. Whatever. I feel this was meant to be, truthfully. Again, praying, hopeful we have a healthy baby number 3. We're less than 3 weeks away. Let's go, bro. Let's go. I'm leaning all in. I know it's going to be hell. And I know 3 girls is going to be hell when they're in high school. And I know when their hormones are going and they're all PMSing and they're all dealing with boy drama and mean girl drama and whatever stuff drama that girls have. I know. But I love them, man. you know? So, yeah, we're in a nice little groove. Let's throw a little baby in that. And let's just get by. I keep telling Brittany, I said, let's just get to 2028. Like that's the goal here. Like let's get I said if the baby's born in, end of August 26, get to the baby to about 15 months old, get to the beginning of 2028. Isla's almost 5 years old. Molly's almost three and a half. Let's just get to 2028. That's a very male mindset, by the way. Women don't think that way. They don't. Sorry, ladies, you don't. You don't think that way. It's very in the moment with many women. I'd say it's a stereotype, but I think it's true. It's in the moment, not seeing the future, where I'm saying, let's just get to 2028. And truthfully, I wish you would say that to me when I struggle at times. Just say, let's get to this. Let's just get to this. It's tough for women to think that, I feel. At least it is with Brittany, and I've noticed. But that's where we're at. My therapist said something great I wanted to share, which I really like. Last time I spoke with him like a month ago. I was telling him a lot about these things and how I feel, and he said, I think you're in a good spot, which meant a lot. He goes, I think this is where you are meant to be at almost age 45. I think this is where you're meant to be. A dad, you have your day job, you still get to do your podcast at night, you still get to be creative. I think this is where you're meant to be, is what my therapist told me. And then he said something that I really like, that I've really held on to. When it's going bad or when it's not easy, difficult, whatever, there has to be a recognition that I get to do this, is the phrasing he said. And that's the word. I'm sorry, those are the 5 words that I need to remember. I get to do this. His point was not everybody gets to have kids. Not everybody gets to have a family. Not everybody gets to have a job they enjoy. I get to do this. It's a great saying. Truthfully is. And he said this kind of I get to do this light bulb went off. He had just attended a concert at the Hollywood Bowl that he really enjoyed out in Los Angeles, right? That's where he lives. And the traffic was real bad on the way home. And he started getting frustrated, right? Classic Southern California, classic Los Angeles traffic, probably bumper to bumper. But then he said he just thought, I got to do this. Why am I getting upset? I just went to a concert I really enjoyed. I just had a lovely evening. And now I'm getting anxiety, I'm getting frustration in traffic. No, I got to do this. I got to enjoy the show. I got that experience. And I know this might sound kumbaya for some people or cliche or corny, and that's fine, but there's a lot of good meaning behind this. That's my point. That's why I'm bringing this up. So even when I have to paint or do things I don't necessarily want to do, like clean the dishes or clean the girls' cups, which are just bottles with straws in them, right? Even when I do those things, like afterwards, after the show, because Brittany's so pregnant, she's just laying in bed right now watching some terrible show. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to look at the dishwasher. I'm going to look at Molly's cups, Isla's cups. I'm going to clean them. And I'm trying to train myself instead of getting mad, annoyed, like, come on, babe, just clean the cups. I get to do this because I have kids, right? Again, there's a positive, there's a good silver line there. I get to do this because I'm fortunate to have 2 little girls. Not everybody can have little girls, not everybody can have kids. You can really apply it to anything in life, relationships, work, whatever. Right? You don't want to go to work. Well, I get to have a job. Not everybody gets that. I mean, it's true. Again, it might sound kind of like, some Instagram motivational meme or whatever. I get it. I get it. I get that. But for me, I'm finding meaning in this, and I just wanted to share that. I get to do this, right? The times I don't want to pick up the girls from daycare because I've been at work all day. I don't want to leave work. I'm enjoying work. I don't want to leave the office. I just want to come home. I got to run up. Again, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's a 12-minute drive or whatever. But it's like I get to do that. I get to spend this time with my kids. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Let's talk about burritos now. Can we talk about burritos? Something that is also near and dear to my heart. If you know anything about me, you know I love burritos. Go-to move when we go to a Mexican restaurant, I'm getting a burrito. There's just so many good variations. Like with tacos, I'm a big taco guy as well. But I just love burritos. I just love them. So there started being this debate on social media, more within like the conservative crowd, more within like that wing of politics, debating grocery prices, debating food prices, and somehow now it's morphed into this discussion of burritos, and I wanted to talk about it because again, I love burritos. So this guy, I don't know him, I don't follow him. He's fart of. I have bad farts tonight, by the way. Maybe that's why I said he farted. Well, I don't know what I said, but yeah, I don't know. Bad gas. Had some food tonight that not sitting the best with Brittany and I. So yeah, spent some time in the toilet before the show. Anyway, this guy's part of the TPUSA. I don't know. That's Charlie Kirk's company that's now run by his wife. That's a whole other discussion. That's a whole other discussion I ain't having on this show, and I don't feel like getting into right now. Turning Point USA. That's what it is. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Again, this is like taking on a whole thing in that political wing. But I just want to bring it up because it is an interesting discussion. He said one of our Turning Point USA college students gave me this take on affordability. A burrito shouldn't cost $20. And then he said, yeah, a lot of this is a hangover from the COVID and Biden era inflation, but the lived experience is the same. It just feels like basic things cost too much. Okay, so again, I don't want to get into the politics of this or some of these economics, but it's more of the focus on this $20 burrito for college kids. My first thought was, where are you getting a $20 burrito? Where? Where are you getting this? Where are you getting a $20 burrito? Like, that's my thing. Now, I know I live in a relatively affordable city in the Midwest, Cincinnati. Obviously not like Los Angeles, not like New York, San Francisco, Chicago, insert big city. I get that. As someone who lived in Los Angeles for 13 years, the prices are really not comparable. They just aren't. Cost of living way higher in California. But also, $20 burrito. Where is this, is what I'm saying. I've talked about this at length. I go to my local Chipotle as a go-to. Haven't been in a bit, truthfully. We haven't been in about 2 months or something. But anyway, I get a $10 burrito. Like, where's this $20 burrito? The cost for a chicken burrito is it's a shade under 10. And I know different locations will vary because it's a franchise-owned company, which means not everybody's going to have the same prices. Not everybody's going to have the same menu necessarily. Anyway, I think a burrito is like $9.65, which, as I've stated numerous times on this show, is a pretty fair, I would almost go as far as saying good price point for a burrito in 2026. A $9.65 burrito that is very large, is going to fill me up. If I wasn't such a pig that I can be, probably give me leftovers. Truthfully, most people leftovers. And this is whether it's the burrito or the burrito bowl. Let's stick with the burrito because that's the discussion here. $10 for a big size burrito, to me, is a good deal. So I don't know where these $20 burritos are. And then everybody's hopping in and everybody's showing, some of it's trolling, some of it's whatever, but then everybody's showing their prices. Now, we do have somebody put in, then it turned into a whole discussion about ChatGPT, I'm sorry, Chipotle's prices, which I do have right here. I'm going to pull up on the screen. He said, I don't really know why all of the conservative X is talking about burritos this week, but it's interesting to track the rising cost of Chipotle over the past 10 years. This is from ChatGPT. And yes, obviously, all this is a luxury for some, but seeing a 55% increase in 10 years and no signs of getting better, and in fact getting worse, is significant. Trying to pretend it's not important is missing a major story that matters to many voters. So again, we're bringing this into the political realm, who don't spend their day thinking about politics or doom scrolling and arguing on X, which I think is a lot of the people. I get his point right there. So, homeboy who posted this, don't know this guy. Let's just pull up what the inflation rate of Chipotle is in the last 10 years. Okay, so you can see it. By the way, these are all steak burritos. Interesting that he would choose not the cheapest option, which will be my point here in a minute. So a steak burrito was $7.75 in 2016. 2020, it was only $8.50. So it took 4 years to jump not even $1. It took 4 years to jump 85 cents. Now it's listing a steak burrito as $11.55 in 2026. He also lists the price of guac, chips, drink, and then there's your total. So this is his $20 burrito point. In 2016, you could get a steak burrito, you could get guac, you could get chips, and you could get a drink for $13 10 years ago. In 2026, if you get a steak burrito, guac, chips, and a drink, it is $20.15. Well, there it is. I guess that's your $20 burrito. But it's not a $20 burrito. It's not. You're getting chips, you're getting guac, and you're getting a drink. And I'm just going to let you guys in on a little something. A little something. A little something. For somebody who works in the quick service industry. Somebody who knows price point. Somebody who works in the marketing department. We work with these numbers all the time. I'll just give you guys a little something. A little nug, so to speak. And it's not really a nug, because you should know this by now. So I'm not revealing anything that I shouldn't reveal. Guess what the best margins are for any restaurant? It's the drinks. Especially the fountain drinks. You should know this if you have a brain. The best margins for any fast food or quick service restaurant like a Chipotle are the drinks. The drinks don't cost much, guys. You have a deal with Coke, you have a deal with Pepsi, you buy it in bulk, yada, yada, yada. It's coming in a dispenser. Those are the best price points on the restaurants. So when they're charging $3, and that's kind of a typical charge right now for a regular drink in most restaurants, when they're charging you $3 for a soda, it's costing them probably a quarter, maybe. So again, those are the best margins. Just don't get the soda. So that's my thing. That's my thing about this whole debate. And my stance on all these arguments about what it should and shouldn't cost, it's nuanced to me, which nobody wants to have that discussion. It's nuanced. Are prices too high? Are they insane? Are they ridiculous across the board? Yes. 100% they are. Also, maybe don't get the chips and guac with it. Maybe don't get the drink. There, I just saved you $10. Just saved you $8. I just saved you 40%, 50%, you name it. That's what I don't understand about these people. Now, I'm not a soda guy, luckily. I don't really drink soda. Couldn't tell you last time I bought it, truthfully. I just don't. I don't buy it, actually. I don't buy soda. So if I'm going to Chipotle, again, for me, $10 burrito, that's very big, to me is a good price point. I'm not buying a drink. I'm not buying chips and guac. Now, Brittany wants the chips and guac. I'll get it. Also, though, I have the app, so you get free stuff a lot of times. Like, the app's free. All these restaurants, all these fast food joints, all these quick service restaurants, they're throwing you something if you get the app. Now, are they tracking every move? Do they know every single thing about you? Yeah. Do they know when you woke up? Probably. Do they know the last time you took a dump? Yeah, probably. Is it worth it for the free chips and guac once every 6 weeks? I don't know. It's up for you to decide. They know everything about you. Is it worth it for the free queso 3 times a summer? I don't know. That's for you to decide. For me, yeah. That's cool. Chipotle, you can know me. You're listening to me right now, Chipotle. My phone's right here. That's fine. You can know everything about me. Throw me some free chips and guac. Throw me a free burrito every now and then. Cool. We're good. I'm already being tracked by everybody else. So it doesn't really matter to me at this point. I've given up. Does it annoy me? Yeah, but it's just, what am I going to do? What are you going to do? So again, the $20 burrito debate isn't really a $20 burrito. Obviously, it's going to cost more, like I said, in the bigger cities versus a city like Cincinnati where I live. Of course. But there's also layers to this discussion about what college kids are eating, which I've seen somewhat. Again, prices can be insane. They can be inflated like they are, not matching people's wages. Inflation's not, there's not a linear, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not parallel with people's wages. That's for sure. I've talked about this at length. Also, college students aren't supposed to eat nice burritos, except maybe occasionally. That's my take as well. I was a college student. Feels like forever ago, but I was a college student. Lots of spaghetti. Lots of spaghetti because you can buy spaghetti very cheap in bulk at Sam's Club, at Costco. You can buy spaghetti sauce very cheap in bulk. You can buy Easy Mac very cheap in bulk. You can buy ramen noodles very cheap in bulk. I'm just saying. We lived off that stuff. Now, we were fun because we saved our money to probably go out and, partake in some indulgences at the bars. Unlike all these kids nowadays who are like, I'm going to play Minecraft or whatever you guys do. I don't know. I'm not going to judge you. You probably shouldn't drink as much as I did. Yeah, it was stupid. Yada, yada, yada. You get the point. The point is, a place like Chipotle is kind of a luxury. I've talked about this. They're targeting people who have, maybe greater household incomes, who can afford this stuff, right? I just don't know why everything's got to be so black and white when it's not. It's not black and white. Maybe don't spend, and that's my thing with the younger generation too. That's my thing. I understand why they have frustration. I totally do, and I empathize with that. The Gen Zers feel like, how am I supposed to go anywhere if I can't afford a house and I got a decent job? Let's say a decent job out of college. Food's expensive. I get that. Also, you guys have a different level of expectation, I think. Again, both things can exist. Your expectation level is way higher. It just is. Your palate is more refined, which you're going to spend more money. Like, do the math. What do you think I've saved over all these years by not ordering a drink? Ever. Whether it's Chipotle, McDonald's, a fine dining restaurant. I'm just saying, if I'm never ordering a soda, how many thousands of dollars do you think I saved just by getting water? Like, you're still getting the meal, right? And I understand the frustration. But again, no one's forcing you to go in there. No one's forcing you to get the guac and chips with your burrito. That burrito is already a very substantial amount of food. And that's the point. You think you need that. By the way, their chips and guac are mid, by the way. Chipotle's chips and guacs aren't even that good. They're mid. They're not that good. Their queso's mid. It's not that good. I always said to Brittany, I said, you want to, I usually just get it when I have a free chip and guac. So I'll get it for, happy wife, happy life. You know the saying. By the way, way overused saying, by the way. But I always say, I go, this isn't really that good. I don't think Chipotle's chips are that good. Truthfully, I like the Trader Joe's chips better. Trader Joe's chips, right out of the bag, I like them better. But this whole debate over food cost and college students, again, there has to be nuance to this. There has to be context on all this stuff. I just think about my college days. That was a total luxury. There was a Qdoba real close to me my 5th year in college in St. Louis when I lived in U City. We didn't eat it that much. I didn't eat it that much because I couldn't afford it. The same way with the Jimmy John's that was right next to it, which I really liked. That was like a once or maybe twice a month thing. Like I said, I was going to the grocery store, buying stuff in bulk, like spaghetti, PB&J. It's like, that's what it was. Right? So just keep all these things in mind, people, when you're having these ridiculous debates about why food costs are so much. But also, I'm not smart enough to know why. I mean, things are insane. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. 55% though, price increase in 10 years. It does seem like a lot. I'm not disagreeing with that. That seems like a lot. Is it? I don't know. Is 11.55, which again, I don't know what market that would be. I know a steak burrito here in Cincinnati at my local Chipotle would not be 11.55. Is that a lot? I don't know. I do know it depends on what you make hourly. That matters. On what you make earnings. Are grocery prices insane? Yeah. Because I don't know. I have this conversation a lot at work. I have this conversation with Brittany. It's like, everything's so priced. Like, what do you do? I don't know. I don't have an answer. But I'll tell you one thing. The more marijuana that you smoke, the more you're going to want Chipotle, the more you're going to want burritos, the more you're going to want chips and guac. Is there a factor? I don't know. This was another thing I saw people debating on X. Because marijuana is now the most popular daily drug. It has overtaken cigarette users and alcohol users. New data from the Federal National Survey on Drug Use and Health show that for 2025, there were 21.4 million daily/near daily marijuana users, 19.9 daily/near daily cigarette users, 17.2 million daily near daily alcohol users. 2025 is the first time on record that marijuana is the most popular daily use addictive product. And then people start debating this again. And I'm just sitting there, like, I don't weigh in. I'm in a good stage in my life, I think, with social media. I'm proud of myself. I also have kids and I also have a full-time job. I'm also podcasting. It's like, I don't got time to, like, argue with people. I couldn't think of anything less that I'd rather do, truthfully. Truthfully, I've said it a million times. If you're sitting there arguing with strangers, especially now that Twitter shows you where they're from, which I love, one of the best things that they've ever added to that app. You literally can click on location. Oh, you're a dude talking American politics and you live in Africa? I'm good. You're just a bot trying to stir people up. Couldn't think of a worse way to spend my day. And truthfully, when you do that, I think you have a big void in your life and you need to seek some help and you need to truthfully evaluate your life. I don't have the time to do that. So I just observe. I'm a voyeur, and that's fine. You could argue I'm wasting my time as well. Fair point, just by observing. But I'm not delving into it. Anyway, this study was posted that I just read, and then people were debating marijuana, and some people were obviously pro marijuana, some people are against, and I have noticed an uptick in people against marijuana, which has been interesting. Just because to me it's such a less harmful drug, it's such a less harmful substance on many obvious ways that have been talked about to death, right? People don't get violent and angry on marijuana like they do with alcohol. People don't start beating their spouses when they're on edibles. They're like, hey, babe, can you throw a pizza in the oven? Right? It's a different type of drug, it's a different type of reaction. So I've always been an advocate of marijuana over alcohol, and I always will. For that and many, many other reasons. Right? It's 2026. You get stoned, you want food, it can come right to your house. You're pre-gaming with the boys, you want to hop in your car, drive drunk, go to another bar, meet people. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's a different type of drug. But then I see people having these arguments, and I find it fascinating. And again, someone who has not drank alcohol like myself for 12 years, over 12 years, how much better my life has improved when I've removed alcohol and then dabbled in marijuana use occasionally, which is non-existent at this point right now. Full disclosure. Haven't touched marijuana in, I don't know, February, truthfully. That's probably the last time. Just because I'm in a stage where I'm like, I'm not messing with anything. Not that it would like mess with me, like, oh, I smoked an occasional joint, or I had a THC drink, or a gummy, or whatever. I'm not moral grandstanding on this saying it's bad. I'll give myself credit. I've done this my whole life, and I've said this. Like, I know when to just be like, I have a very addictive personality too, but I also know when to be like, I just don't want it in my life right now. Just in the past when I've done that, same thing with marijuana or booze or dating or sex, whatever. I'm just like, I need to take a break. And I'm kind of in that mood right now. I'm just busy with work. I'm busy with the girls. We have another kid on the way. I've just had zero desire. Zero desire for about the last 6 months. In fact, I actually bought a bunch of pre-made joints and some other products at a dispensary in February that I haven't even touched. I gave some away to family and friends. I just was like, I haven't touched this. It's been sitting in my closet. You know, I got a little bag that I can lock, keep it away from the kids. Not that they can reach that tall. They're not 8 feet tall. But anyway, I just haven't messed with it. I've had zero desire. But I'm going off the point. Enough about me and my current marijuana use. That's besides the point. The point is, it is interesting that now it's this mainstream, that it's the number one, numero uno, the top dog. Daily use marijuana is ahead of both cigarettes and alcohol. And me, I'm always a follow the money guy. So when I see people arguing, and I see a lot of these like conservative, successful people on X, especially, it's like marijuana's for losers and this and that. I'm just like, you guys are kind of dorks too. Like, you think you're cooler because you have your glass of wine, you have your glass of Chardonnay, your Pinot Noir. It's like, you're a dork. Like, whatever. That's cool. You have that. I think that's lame, personally. To each their own. I think that's lame. But again, to me, it's something straight out of reefer madness, right? 1950s propaganda. Like you smoke weed and you're just a loser, or you take edibles and you're a lazy sloth. Like, what is, I just don't think that holds up in 2026. It doesn't. Now, do I know all the studies on psychosis? No. And obviously, the marijuana is way more potent now and strong. Yeah, I don't have all that. And maybe they're arguing that. But something else that I saw that was interesting, um, if this is true, also related, a new federal report has confirmed that we have been saying for years. Again, this is coming from the Marijuana Policy Project. So, slight bias here. The Marijuana Policy Project. A new federal report has confirmed what we've been saying for years: legalizing and regulating cannabis does not lead to an increase in youth use. In fact, it does the opposite. So I don't know the legitimacy of this study. I always say that because I don't ever know what to trust. This is a 2025 national survey on drug use in health. I don't know who did this. If it's an official, the 2025 National Drug Use Survey on Drug Use in Health. This was just released 10 days ago. Shows that 8.7% of people between the ages of 12 and 17 used marijuana within the last year. That's down from 14.2% in 2011, the year before the first U.S. states legalized recreational cannabis. So according to this, kids ages 12 to 17 are using it less, are trying it less than they did 15 years ago. At a fair amount less. Who knows? Politicians, I think, and people are saying the opposite. And then this is a full length. This goes down the full gamut. I clicked on this study, and it just goes down the full gamut of people trying drugs and it's focusing on marijuana use compared to the other drugs, right? And it seems again, marijuana is just it's taken over, which again is no surprise, no surprise there. To the younger generation's credit, to the Gen Z's credit, I think they know. Like I said, it's a healthier alternative. There's this narrative that you're just a bum loser stoner. It just doesn't hold up in 2026. It doesn't. I have been on many a golf course. Not that I golf that much, but with some very very successful guys who were not drinking. So some friends here in the last 4 or 5 years, they were eating edibles. These are some extremely successful guys in the private sector, in the business world. No, I'm good. I'm not going to get bombed on the booze today. Maybe I'll have one or two in an edible. How do you think that plays out better? Plays out a lot better. Probably improves the golf game as well. But yeah, this study basically breaks down the marijuana use. Again, I don't know how accurate this is, how they conduct this. They're saying there were 61.6 million cannabis consumers, according to the federal government report, representing an increase from 2021 when 19% reported cannabis use in the past year. So more people were using it. It's almost a fifth of the population. Marijuana use in 2025 was highest, no surprise here, among young adults between the ages of 18 to 25. 33.7%, followed by people 26 and older, 20%. Look, I'm not saying this stuff isn't powerful. I'm not saying it doesn't have a kick to it. But again, like this is the top dog now. This is numero uno. And it's not a surprise. And again, I think in the long run, that's good. I think big alcohol, just like big pharma, just like any of these big industries, I think they're paying top dollars to combat this. I think they're getting in politicians, uh, you know, they're getting in with them. They're donating to their campaigns. They're creating political action committees. All those things. It's not. Look, it's not rocket science. This is what's always been done. It's what's always been done. But now the good thing is with technology, with the internet, we all have access to this. We all know. I'm not surprised at all by this. But it's kind of like a moment. It's a moment. It's a moment. You're like, oh, this is number one now. Really? And again, the young kids just aren't drinking. Now, do I think maybe they should drink more? Yeah. Maybe they should. Maybe that's just nostalgia from my 20s, right? Me being an idiot. Maybe like, yeah, you should have some of those years like I did. Be social. Alcohol's a social drug. These kids are all socially awkward. That's going to be a college course, by the way, I think at some point. How to be social. I'm not even joking. That's going to be a college course. How to be social. You're going to have a teacher teach them how to talk to people, how to interact, how to engage. Maybe I'll start that now. Speaking of being social, I have to share what I saw the other day. We live in bizarre times. I go to my local Kroger, which can kind of be dicey, truthfully. You have an interesting blend in my local Kroger in Mount Washington here. It's like there's some Section 8 housing not too far. So you're getting kind of like that type of person. And like you're getting the mix. You're getting like, I'll just be honest. You're getting kind of like the white trash meth head person and like the ghetto black person. Right. I'm just calling it what it is. Just calling it what it is. You're getting like those two worlds of the Section 8 housing at this Kroger. So you get some interesting people in there. So I go in Saturday night. I don't know, Brittany wanted something. You know, she keeps getting these pregnancy cravings. So like she'll send me out like the total bitch I am. And she'll just be like, you know, I want this. I'm like, oh, okay. Go on this Kroger. This guy's walking around with a pit bull. And I'm not talking about Mr. Worldwide. I'm not talking about him. If he was walking around with Mr. Worldwide on a leash, I'd be like, yo, Pitbull is at my local Kroger. I'd be turned. I'd throw on some glasses. I'd be like, yo, can you wrap something for me? Or whatever he does. I don't even know what Pitbull does. It was the dog. It was the dog, if I have to clarify, just so people who didn't understand. He was walking around with a animal. He was walking around with a pit bull in my Kroger at 9:45 on a Saturday night. And I thought, what is happening? This is where we're at, and I already knew before I said anything. I already knew it's like, because you can't say anything in 2026, which is wild. So I'm checking out in the self-checkout. Dude with his pit bull is checking out in another self-checkout. And then he leaves. By the way, the dude in the pit bull is not somebody I would ever approach, right? Let's just say that much. Not the type of person who'd be like, excuse me, sir. Is that a service dog? Not that type of guy, because I want to live and I have 2 kids. We already know this. I have 3 girls I have to take care of. Almost 4. Soon to be 4. Not the type of guy I'm like, excuse me, sir. Can I see your papers for that animal? Not that type of guy. Now, me being me, and I can't resist. Did I say something to the 19-year-old dorky-looking kid working at Kroger when the dude left? Yeah. Did I make a joke? Did I make a witty, sarcastic comment? Yeah, of course. Guy leaves with his killer dog, which, by the way, you pit bull people need to chill. Oh, they're not harmful. Well, stats would disagree. Stats would disagree. Dog attacks. Oh, it's the people, not the dog. Stats would probably disagree. Anyway, that's for another conversation. Not having it right here. Mr. Pitbull, again, not Mr. Worldwide, walks away, and I look at the clerk and I go, I'm sure that's a service animal. And he chuckles a little, and he goes, we can't say anything. It's company policy. He goes, I know it's not a service animal. I'm like, that's insane to me. By the way, I would never want to put this guy in jeopardy for his life either. I'm not expecting this 19-year-old kid from Kroger to be like, sir, can I see some papers? You got any papers about this pit bull? I want to see some papers. I don't expect that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's insane that this is Kroger's company policy. Kroger, the largest grocery retailer in our entire country, based here in the great city of Cincinnati, the 513, downtown Cincinnati, headquartered. Kroger, which owns so many different brands, right? Across the country. Largest grocery retailer in the country. Their policy is, you can't say anything. Guy's just walking around with a saber-toothed tiger. You can't say anything. Guy has an elephant on a leash just storming through the cereal aisle, just knocking everything down. You can't say anything. Guy walking around with a Komodo dragon on a collar. You can't say anything. Company policy at Kroger. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? That's all I'm saying. What are we, like, I went home and I know Brittany she just gets sick because she's in bed, like half awake. And I'm like, you don't believe what I saw. Dad was rocking around and she's just, in her head's probably like, shut up, Andy. I don't care. And I know she doesn't care. But I care about how crazy it is. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's insane to me. It's absolutely insane that their company policy. And then the worker tells me, he goes, dude, somebody else brought a dog in last week. Same thing, not a pit bull. Somebody brought a dog and nobody said anything. And the dog just took a massive shit in one of the aisles. And then customers were mad. Rightfully so. Right? You're in there trying to get some tortillas to go home and make some bomb tacos. And there's some golden doodle taking a dump in aisle 6. What are we doing? And I know so many comedians have probably riffed on this and done bits, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just saying the common sense. Why have we just gotten so far away from common sense or being scared to call someone out when they're in the wrong? Right? Now, again, use discretion. I would not have called out this gentleman. No, nor would I expect it anyway from Kroger to. I don't have an answer for his particular case because I want to live. I'm just saying, can we get back to some common sense where we're not having policies where you can just walk around Kroger with a polar bear on a leash? Let's just eliminate this, can we please? Anyway, I think we have a hotline, the Andy Ruther Show, 859-935-0078. My DMs are always open at Andy Ruther on all social media. If you have any lovely baby names, share them. I think we have a name. I think we're ready to rock. But you never know. If you have any baby names, DM me. I always appreciate when you guys DM me and be like, yo, I'm a girl dad. I know what you're going through. Or like, I'm not getting any sleep either, man. I feel your pain. Like, I feel that. I feel that connection is strong, man. That dad connection with other dads, the dad connection with other girl dads in particular, that is strong, and I feel you guys, and I love when you message me. Because then we can just bitch together. We can talk. We can laugh. It's all fun. So DMs are always open. You guys know this. Okay, guys, that's the show. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back whenever, because we all know how I am. Who knows? Next week, next month, next year. I don't know. In the words of the late, great Walt Ruther, over and out.